My name is Morghan Golofaro. I'm a part of the partner ecosystem team at SAP Customer Experience. We are the front office of SAP, so it's wonderful to be here. We work very closely with Forder, and some of you have merchants. So we've spent the day talking about how leaders at some of the world's leading merchants are impacting the future. As we look to wrap up the day, we're going to focus our last conversation on the C-suite with our guests here, Shirley and Jenna, and how they're embracing this change, leading their organizations through digital transformations. We'll be covering a wealth of topics today, this afternoon, from team culture to hiring and what this really ultimately means for all of our customers. Before we dive in, let's do a quick round of intros to set the stage. So welcome to the session. Thank you for being here. I know a lot of you have probably met our two panelists here already during breakout sessions, but just in case you haven't yet, Shirley, do you mind doing a quick round of an intro?
Sure. Thank you for having me. My name is Shirley Gao. I'm the CIO at Pacsun. Pacsun is a apparel retailer. We have about 300 stores in the United States. There's also a great e-com business. E-com is about 1/3 of the business. And we were lucky that we actually doubled the e-com penetration in the last 2 years. And our customers are mainly Gen Z. Pacsun was voted as one of the top 5 most teen favorable brands. I think if you have teenagers, you probably know the brand.
And Jenna?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jenna Flateman Posner. I'm the CDO at SNIPES. SNIPES is a global sneaker and streetwear retailer. We were founded in 1998 in Germany and live there as one of the top 3 sneaker and streetwear retailers in Europe. We came to the US in early 2019 by way of acquisition. We've had a series of acquisitions since 2019, and we are now at around 300 physical stores in the US, and we have 10x'd our digital revenue over the past 3 years. So we're on a pretty wild ride right now.
And her shoes to back it up too. I told her I should have matched her, maybe later. Yeah. So I think you can all agree we've had to adapt to a new reality in the past few years, right? Especially in the retail world. It's been so transformational for that vertical specifically. Can you guys provide specific examples of what this has meant for not only your business, but also your teams? Shirley, let's start with you.
Yeah, so talking about the last 3 years is really very challenging. I mean, a lot of things become the new norm, such as, the world is changing rapidly, beyond anybody could imagine, right? So there's no time for you to get ready, to get prepared. You just have to react to it. So then pandemic, lockdown, all the inventories are in the stores, the malls are closed. Then you got to do ship from store. And then after that, then you go, how about buy online, pick up in the store? How about reserve online, pick up in the store? And then as it started to open up and people want to do curbside, and then you go, so everybody is ordering food delivery. And then by the way, DoorDash and Uber, they can deliver your merchandise. So let's do, apparel delivery.
So nothing's changed, basically.
Well, the only thing doesn't change is change, right? Yeah. And we will also, did a quick reaction, launched same-day delivery with Amazon. So we were one of the top brands that Amazon Prime consumers can use their app to get a same-day delivery from our store. So again, the only thing doesn't change is really change. You have to quickly react to it. And secondly, as a CIO, for a company that's been there for 30, 40 years, you can't just, get all the new technology and throw away whatever you have. Yeah. So you have to carry your legacy. That's a huge part of the business. And you got to figure out, how to leverage the cutting edge technology like Forder and to add value to your business, to grow your revenue, to improve your operation efficiency. So that is also a new norm during your digital transformation. How do you figure out the right thing at the right time and with hopefully ROI like 2,000%, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the the challenges at new norm. The other thing is really resource. I think anybody can talk hour long about the resource challenge. That's really another new norm that everybody has to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think from a technology perspective, everything was just so accelerated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that, Jenna? Just from a team perspective, your people, right? How did
Yeah.
you keep up with it?
Yeah, I'll say from a technical flywheel perspective, from an innovation perspective, I'll echo all of Shirley's sentiments. From a cultural perspective, one amazing thing that came out of the pandemic is that historically, retail is incredibly siloed, right? Stores have their agenda, merchants have their agenda, digital has their agenda. In not being physically present for so long, we had to be very intentional and very active in creating opportunities for us to collaborate. And for us, what the outcome was actually putting time and energy and effort into building and flexing that communication muscle, because we had to try so much harder. There was no water cooler talk, there was no popping into someone's office. We had to really create process and make time for each other. And it broke down a lot of these silos. It broke down a lot of barriers, and it created a lot better partnership across the organization that we've been able to continue to maintain now that SNIPES is in a hybrid work environment.
Okay, good. So a lot of positive change then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Shirley, you touched on this, right? A lot of the different new aspects of the business that have now become normal, right? Through the pandemic, some changes were temporary. I think some now we've adopted full time. Can you speak to some of those in your businesses?
Yeah, so let's talk about this work from home, right?
Yeah.
So at the beginning, everybody moved to work from home. That I'm not only responsible for my team, and this is the whole company. And then so those creative designers, and they need a different way of working from home. They need access. Their photo is huge. And then they need a different device. And as a company, your CFO won't agree to provide everybody 4 monitors, 2 at work and 2 at home. So then as soon as we started to do that, and then now things settled down, now let's move back to office. So and I also get a lot of pushback from my own team. I think the world really changed. Before, we all work in the office 5 days a week and pretty much no problem. But now after 3 years that our business took an approach that permanently work from home, right? And they're offering a lot more compensation. So they gave the flexibility to the top talents. So then I have to face that, do I provide the flexibility, the compensation to keep my top talents, the key players, or I take the risk of losing them. So I think that's the challenge that everybody has to deal with. Meanwhile, you do get your team member come to you, go, I get an offer, so what do you do? And then once that person you want to retain, but that offer is 40% higher than what you pay, and what about the boss and the boss's boss? So you literally have to overall, the internal equity to make sure. And then if your IT department does in a certain way, the other department will get why IT gets to do that. So I mean, this
a lot of dynamics to navigate. Yeah.
This is not a session to vent, but I think
Get it out, Shirley.
Yeah. This is really the new norm. I mean, and I think at the end of the day, talent and the team members is the top asset for any company. You get the right people, you get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jenna, the first time that we met, one of the things we chatted about was just the idea of tech becoming this functional force in retail, right? And kind of changing the game. So can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, I think an example of that is really pre and post pandemic, right? If we look at the role that digital played in an organization, everybody was digital first, right? Everyone was digital first. And then the pandemic hit, and then everyone was really digital first. Right? We were digital only for quite a long period of time. And I think what was so interesting about that time period is we got to carry the team, which was great. But we also got to reset the bar for what innovation means. We got to reset the bar for what pace the business is growing at, and how we're operating and how we're measuring. And all of a sudden, stores came back into the mix, and we had reset this expectation about how fast we're moving. And very quickly, they realized, oh God, we have to keep up with this. And so what that did for me is rather than coming to the store relationship as a challenger, I was able to come to the store relationship as a partner. And that partnership allowed this like unfettered access to data and measurement and really working together to start championing some of these BOPIS or omnichannel use cases, and ultimately giving the stores access to better understand what data in the hands of a digital marketer can really do for them. Because legacy, historically, customer walks in, they buy something and they leave. The conversation begins and ends right there. And so what it's done for us is it's really put digital as a proven partner in the center of the business. And it's allowed us to be a part of bigger conversations, much more strategic, much more respected, much more enabled, much bigger budgets. And what we're finding is that the business as a whole is moving faster, growing faster, and innovating faster. So not only do I get to wear my made it through the pandemic badge of honor, but I got promoted through it, which was awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Something to be proud of for sure,
Yeah,
across both. Yeah. Shirley, is this something that you've experienced at Pacsun as well?
Yeah, I think right now we can all agree that every business is a technical business. There's no business you can run without technology, right? Looking at us, about $900 million business versus
wild.
You go to a farmer's market in the morning, you buy a cup of coffee and you can pay them by scanning the QR code. Everything is technology. You want to grow your revenue, retain your customers, improve your conversion rate, that's all technology. Social media, Instagram, what else is not technology? Supply chain. So every day we deal with, where's my product and, design, talking to the vendor, and China manufacturer locked down and ship from here to there. Everything now is through technology. Like Jenna said, the consumer data. And we all struggle to put together a CDP so that you can better understand your customers' behavior, what's the impact, and how do you get the real-time data that to understand your consumer better. So if you order from my website and you get your package at home in 5 days versus you got it in 10 days, does that change your behavior in terms of returning? Mm-hmm. That kind of analysis that's before we never had. Yeah. And now there are technology out there can help us to unlock the opportunity to get the real-time data business insight to drive the business strategy. But on the other side, our customers live in technology. They're mobile first. They leverage anything they could leverage. And I do have customers buy merchandise by paying cryptocurrency. That was something I was surprised. So our leadership, we decided, so as a president, in that Web3 market, the digital world, let's accept the digital currency. And we were like, really, I thought that's for investment. Does anybody buy Pacsun? Maybe buy, $700 shoes, but buy Pacsun product, $50 hoodies. Yeah. I do have customers use that. So this world is really an era of technology.
Yeah, that's very interesting for sure. So a lot of change, right? You have to keep up with the changing world. And we've talked a little bit about this, but how has this impacted your hiring strategy, right? And hiring different roles, to your point, right? You're talking a lot about different omni-channel problems and bringing that all together and trying to narrow down or get rid of the silos that you talked about, Jenna. So what does that mean in terms of hiring for your team? How has it shaped that strategy? Jenna, please, let's start with you. Yeah.
So when I was hired, I was on the retail tech side. I was selling technology. I know, yeah, I'm a spy, sorry. No, so I was a retail technologist. I was building partnerships, integration, selling tech. And when I was offered this position, I thought to myself, there's no way I can do this. I wouldn't know where to even begin. But what my boss said to me then, and I will bring this with me everywhere, is she said, I'm not looking for legacy retail thinking. It's not what I'm looking for. We have plenty of that to go around. I want innovation, I want pace, I want problem solvers, I want disruptors. That is what I'm really looking for. And so in the same way that she looked for that in me, I kind of started, when I started, I had about 10 people on my team, and we're almost at 50 now, and so I've done a lot of hiring. And I started out thinking, I got to hire retailers. I have to, they know this, they're going to move faster, they're going to see where the problems are. And those hires didn't work out. And so I kind of shifted my gaze and I thought, okay, what am I really looking for? I'm looking for grit. I'm looking for resilience. I'm looking for people that can problem solve and handle anything, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic. We don't know what's coming next. I need people that can figure this stuff out and kind of hang in there with me. And what I found is that hiring technologists was actually the smartest way to go. So I haven't looked back. Almost everyone on my team now was previously a technologist or on the agency side or not on the traditional retail side of things, and that's really helped us think differently. And yeah, it's been really helpful.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a lot about changing the world and adapting to it internally, right? Between technology and teams, building, hiring, personnel, all of that. Let's talk about consumers and customers and how that's changed, right? So Shirley, you mentioned the bulk of your customer, your sweet spot is Gen Z,
yeah.
And they are changing faster than a lot of people can keep up with, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the ways that you're thinking about this in your role?
Yeah, the good thing is the Gen Zs, they do have a lot of things in common, right? I think we have learned a lot. The Gen Z customers are technology savvy, they are mobile first. So they interact to that, okay, let's leverage technology. So Pacsun, we implemented such as the digital workers that in the chatbot, so when they go to your website, they have questions, where's my order? Instead of have the call center 24/7 to answer the call, now I implemented the digital worker so that where's my order, it can find, has the brand awareness and customer awareness. So find your order, and I show you something like Amazon, here's the map, here's where your order is, or it already arrived, delivered yesterday. That sort of thing in response to the technology mandate from the customers. The other thing about Gen Z, so in general, I think including my two daughters, they prefer the brands that's personalized, the brands that are sustainable. They care about the quality and the material and how their supply chain is. Are they socially compliant? And they want to support the business that has the same point of view in some political and social position. So that we also took that responsibility, and then so Pacsun implemented the pre-loved. I think a lot of brands do that too, the jeans and other apparels, through the providers' professional services, and so you can trade in and they reprocess it and get it washed and prepared and can sell again. The other thing about the Gen Z customer is that social media has played such a significant role. I mean, there's no kids, no teenagers are not on social media. There are a lot of things that I think I don't have to understand, but I do have to take a reaction, right? So they all follow the influencers. I cannot take credit, but our Pacsun merchandise and marketing leader, so we engaged with Emma Chamberlain. I went home and asked my daughter, who is Emma Chamberlain? Oh, the best YouTuber. So I think she was like one of the top 25 influencers. She has 9 to 10 million followers.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and then also in response to that, so in addition to brick and mortar, like traditionally customer walk to your store, you greet them, you prepare and you put in the merchandise in the shopping bag. Then we move on to e-commerce, and they can shop omni-channel, deliver, return. And now we even moved further that our customers can check out from Instagram. So if they follow Emma is showing a jacket or a swimsuit, and they can just click it and buy immediately, and we fulfill it. So really, we really have to respond to the demand from the customers. Sort of like if they want it, we'll make it happen.
Got it. So your daughters are quite the valuable asset to the business. It sounds like the best consumer panel you could ask for.
They educate me a lot.
That's excellent, Shirley. Jenna, you have an interesting role at Snipes, just having a physical presence, working with a number of your partner brands, right? It's a huge piece of the business, your brick and mortar stores, not just your online presence. So how does that play out in your role and how you're looking at the business?
Yeah, so getting those BOPUS hooks in place, you all know how hard it is. It's very difficult. We did this through the pandemic and we were very successful at doing it. We fulfill about 50% of our orders from store today. So having 300 mini fulfillment centers across the country is super helpful. So from a physical perspective, the way that I look at digital at this point is we are a tool to help drive the digital voice of our physical store locations. It's good for us, it's good for the entire business, and it's good for our vendor relationships as well. Because all of our vendors that we carry, Nike, Adi, Puma, Jordan, et cetera, they all have direct-to-consumer businesses, but they don't have feet on the street. And so it's my job and my role to make sure I'm leveraging our digital power and our digital presence in order to drive the agenda of those physical stores. One way that we've extended the value of those physical stores and that physical footprint is recognizing that our consumers and even our store associates live and breathe and have grown up around the stores. We operate in very urban environments, very urban neighborhoods, and it's our commitment to really identify, celebrate, empower, and support them. And there's a huge philanthropic side of our business now that really was born through the pandemic, through people's needs of unemployment, a softening of the economy, that has given us an opportunity to re-engage and reconnect in a different way that's less focused around product and more focused around building culture and identity and making a connection to those consumers. So that's been different for us. Our European counterparts are, if you talk to our CEO and you ask him what kind of business we are, he would say, oh, we're a marketing, well, I can't do the German accent, but we're a marketing and entertainment company that happens to sell shoes, right? So we've got DJ Khaled as our chief creative officer. We've worked with tons of hip hop artists and athletes and create a lot of beautiful content, but this practice of re-engaging and giving back is relatively new, and it's something that's actually extending globally for us as well. So that's certainly a very valuable outcome of the pandemic, for sure.
Well, going back to Generation Z, that's something that's important to them.
Of course.
Right? So they're going to buy from people that they know are doing the right thing and giving back to the community. So I'm sure that puts you at a great advantage, for sure. Yeah. Well, the theme of today's conference, of course, is impact. When it comes to the work that you both do, what does impact mean to you? Shirley, let's start with you.
Okay, so let me share about the impact that's just specifically at work. I mean, we all impact each other, right? So, she impacted me, that, helped me to improve my bot management, and then, that's a different impact. But internally at Pacsun, I'm a CIO, so I'm responsible for the entire company's technology strategy roadmap. So my impact to my leadership is that I'm responsible for knowing, the trend, the best technology out there. So what we should be leveraging, so what we should bring to have the right vision, to have the right roadmap. So at the leadership level. And the other impact I could do to the organization is that, especially for a previous job, I worked at a company had a 100-year history. So a lot of things were pre-built. There are routines, there are things that people could do with their eyes closed. But then I think the impact, especially like the technologies and in the new era, that we should dare to challenge what is happening now, and to recognize the opportunities and to leverage the technology to improve the operation efficiency. That's how you can help to grow the business and lower the cost. And the other impact to the team, I think we're all officers and we're also leaders. So we have a team that we develop. We hire the talent, but I also have in general, easily, any company, you have a IT, you have your loyal IT people that they've been working for the company for 10, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot just go, I'm implementing new technology, you all go away. So that's not the right thing to do. So that impact is that I give them opportunity, I provide training, coaching, and to really allow people with the tribal knowledge. And those are the company's best asset. They know your business, much better. And then so I hire people from outside. I leverage like a company like Forder, the consultants and like analysts, and then so give the team opportunity to learn the new technology and to bring on their knowledge and then to continue to sustain the business.
How about you, Jenna?
Anybody read Adam Grant's Think Again? Yeah, a lot of head nods. So for me, impact is, it's disruption at the intersection of inspiring, rethinking process and the way that you operate. And I think in retail, everything is so process driven. It's so easy to get into the mindset of, this is the way we've always done it. This is how it works. This is where I'm comfortable. And so what I bring into Snipes is just no shame when it comes to challenging the way that we're doing things. And I think as leaders, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to say, I know we've always done it this way, but could it be better? How do we refine it? How do we create efficiencies, and how do we measure it? And so that's the impact that I bring to my daily life at Snipes, for better or worse.
So I think what we've learned is that from a digital and a technology perspective, now is the time to impact the industry, right? Just with the way that the world is, this new reality that we're living in, it's prime time for that, and it sounds like you both are certainly doing that for both of your organizations. So thank you both so much for your time today. Very valuable insight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.